Or lock it and put it in your pocket. Okay, and then start your.
Hello, my name is Blakaê, and welcome to a segment we like to call Philosophy with Blakaê. I would like to welcome today's guest, St. Augustine of Hippo. Hello, Mr. Augustine. Thank you for joining us today.
Oh, why hello, Blakaê. My pleasure.
So, St. Augustine.
Oh, please, call me St. Gus.
Okay, St. Gus. What do you enjoy doing in your free time?
Well, before I came to know Christ, I lived in a life of immorality and loose living, which included partying and having affairs. After I gave my life to Christ, however, my entire life changed. I now enjoy teaching, reading, and writing. Get your copy of Confessions of City of God online, as well as preaching and openly proselytizing the truth of the Bible.
Interesting. What caused you to choose to ask Christ into your heart?
Well, before I came to know Christ, I lived in a life of immorality and loose living, which included partying and having affairs. After I gave my life to Christ, however, my entire life changed. I now enjoy teaching, reading, and writing. Get your copy of Confessions of City of God online, as well as preaching and openly proselytizing the truth of the Bible.
Interesting. And what did you learn from all your reading?
Well, it was during the summer of 386. I believe I was 31 years old at the time, and I heard the story of Pontes and his friend's first reading of St. Anthony of the Desert. After hearing the story, I heard a voice telling me to take up and read, and I did.
So tell us, what do you think the origin of mankind is?
Well, I learned about the origin of mankind and all creation, really. I also learned about the importance of donating to the poor, and I also found my passion for preaching.
What makes you believe it all happened instantaneously?
Why, God, of course. God created everything that exists today simultaneously, not in 7 days as most Christians assume.
How does your belief in the origin of mankind affect your view on the meaning of life?
Well, from the reading I have done, it seems as though the 6-day structure of creation represents a logical framework, not a physical passage of time.
How has what you learned as a preacher influenced your thoughts on what determines morality?
Well, I believe the meaning of life is to reunite the two substances of human beings, the soul and body. It is my belief that during the fall, man's unity between the body and soul was destroyed, and now we are experiencing dramatic combat between the two substances.
Very interesting, St. Augustine, St. Gus. You mentioned earlier that the soul and body are two different parts that make up one being, correct?
Well, I obviously think that the Bible is the ultimate reference for determining what is morally right or wrong. Take the issue of slavery, for example. In my day, many of the clergy owned slaves. Can you believe that? Anyway, I led them to free their slaves because the Bible does not give any one group of people dominion over all others. I also think our human will and intelligence are factors in deciding what is morally correct and incorrect.
Based on this belief, what do you think happens when somebody dies?
Yes, that is correct.
Well, that is some very good insight.
Well, I believe death comes to the soul when God abandons it, just as death comes from the body when the soul deposits. I believe that because of the fall of Adam and Eve, we are born onto sin and subject to death. If we live our lives without giving our lives to Christ, we will be faced with the life after death that exists in hell.
Thank you for speaking with me today.
You're very welcome.
And that concludes today's edition of Philosophy with Blakaê. Thank you for joining us.
Online, as well as preaching and openly. I can't read your writing. That's all I'm gonna do.
Up one being, correct?
Okay, we gotta do all that over again.
What? Redo?
Well, from the reading I have